Welcome to episode 93 of This Is a Thing podcast. Thank you guys for joining us, rocking with us. Back again.
Yeah. What's up?
Again.
Hey, you body the intro every time, man.
Hey, man, I appreciate
that
it.
That's hard.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Love, man. That's love, man. I feel that, man. I'm almost about to tear up.
Yeah.
Like,
check my guy out.
Like how I'm going to tear up when we get into this Cam Newton conversation, because that was my quarterback.
Come on, man. Hey, man.
We're going to get into it later. We're going to get into it later. But how you living, man? How's everything going, man? I feel like the only substantial time that we see each other in like open space, safe space too, spend time together is doing this podcast.
That's a fact.
For real. It's not like we don't like each other.
We just be like
busy
living our lives. But yo, like you said, Saturday night, because I came in late and you were already back.
Yeah.
I
was hitting that workout.
Yo, Nick was on the Peloton at what, 1 a.m.? It was like 1 a.m. in the morning.
About 1 a.m.
Yeah.
It was one of those things, like I didn't work out. I tried to get 5 days a week in, because Sunday is the start of my week. I mean, it's the start of the calendar week, but that's how I calculate my workouts. And I was like, I didn't get anything in today. Yeah. So I only did like 35, 40 minutes on the bikes, but you know, it was something. I'm not going to lie. The next morning, like Sunday, waking up, I was just like, I ain't trying to get out of bed.
I'm going to tell you, this you'll find this funny, but one of my homegirls that lives in Maryland that I worked with when I was at the gym, she does personal training or whatever, and she like reached out to me. She was like, hey, like I'm doing like my own programming. Do you want to like try out some of the stuff? Like I know you work out and stuff, but
I thought she was saying like, does she want to get on the show?
No.
Okay, which is dope.
So she was saying like, I got my own programming, like, you know, I can help you get in shape or whatever. I was like, all right, like if you kick it to me, like I'll try it, whatever. So I told her, I said, look, I'm trying to lose weight. I'm trying to like burn fat.
Yeah.
I said, I know my way around the weight room, but I just need something to like a high intensity workout.
Yeah.
Whatever, right?
Put that cayenne in your water, bro.
Yeah. Come on, man. So the apple cider vinegar. So she sent me a workout, right? Mm-hmm. And it was like, I was like, this is mad slight. You feel me? It was like dumbbell thrusters. Push-ups and like lunges, and that was it.
That was it?
That was it.
How many sets?
It was 5 rounds. You go through that 5 times, but it was like 20 thrusters, 12 push-ups, and 20 lunges total, or 16 total lunges, 8 on lunges.
Okay, that sounds light. It sounds light.
It sounds light, right?
Yeah.
So she said, yeah, I did it with 20-pound dumbbells, but you can go up if you want to. My ego gets in the way.
You grab the 50s.
Hey, man. I said 20s, bro. I go up to the 40s. So I go into the gym, didn't stretch, just hopped on the bike, rode the bike for probably like 10 minutes.
Wow.
Grabbed the 40s on the dumbbells, knock out 20 thrusters. Yeah. Fine, right? Hey, go into the lunges. I just did body weight lunges, right? Started to feel a little tight, you know what I mean? But I made it through it. Hey, did my push-ups. Push-ups was slight. That was whatever. Yeah. I went back to do the thrusters the second time. I went down one time and like my quads like locked up, bro. Like I just laid on the ground.
So safe to say you got through what, 2 rounds?
Yeah. Well, I went back. I had to stretch. Like I texted her right then and was like, "Yo, like, what can I do?"
You didn't tell me there was gonna be this intense.
Yeah, right. So she said, "Did you stretch?" I was like, "No." So she was like, "You got to stretch." So I stretched and went back and made it through 5 rounds. But that was with thrusters and push-ups. Them lunges.
How were you feeling that 5th round?
The 5th round felt fine. The next day I was like, now mind you, I'll go in the gym and like squat 300 pounds and be completely fine. But like that stuff like tore me up.
It's like when I do the bike, because I do the bike and I do push-ups and then I do like, you know, some ab stuff, and it's just like just the bike alone. I'm working my way up to like right now I'm at 55 minutes.
Yeah.
Man, the next morning you're like, man, I don't feel like getting out of bed. My legs are sore. It's like you're wearing those Pat Ewing shoes. I know we made the joke about the J.
J.
Cole,
Cole
the
shoes,
J. Cole
yeah.
shoes too. That's a more relevant shoe, but like the J. Cole shoes is like, man, you got these log shoes. It's like your feet feel heavy. Your whole leg
coming down the stairs is scary.
Man, what? I probably almost lost my life on these stairs. Probably like a few times since I moved in. A few times, once a month. So I'm due for another one.
Coming down the first flight, I tripped one day. I had some slides on and it slid off my foot. And you would have walked in from work and my head would have been through the wall. So,
I would have been like, "Hey, bro, you good?"
Yeah.
Clearly, you're not.
Exactly. At that point, I would have been done.
Hey, man. So we haven't talked about it on the podcast, but we were really excited about. And shout out again. This is Black History Month. It's not just Black History Month. It's Black History Year.
Yeah, it's American history.
American history, 365. Acknowledge it. But yeah, we talked about Black history obviously, but we haven't talked about the highly anticipated movie that came out. Was it last week? Mm-hmm. Judas and the Black Messiah. And now did we talk about it with Chris, or was that off?
We
it was off mic.
Was it off? No, I think it was on.
It was on. It was at the back end. It
was at the end. We just briefly went over because you hadn't seen it
yet. Yeah. So I got a chance to see it, but we were both excited about it. We were talking about it a lot. And this is a segue into the topic. But I want to get your thoughts on it because we just talked about it very surface level because I hadn't seen it, so we didn't get a chance to delve into it.
Yeah, let's start with what'd you think of it?
Okay, I thought it was really well done. So I saw the interviews with Daniel Kaluuya and Shaka King, the director, and I saw one with Ryan Coogler, and they're, I guess, seeing what they went through to get the film done and the integrity that was held up during the film and making it and just watching it, it matched. And I didn't come into it expecting it to be a Fred Hampton Fred Hampton biopic. Yeah. I knew what the premise of the story was. And I actually went and watched there's a documentary, a Fred Hampton documentary that goes into much more detail than the movie. Yeah. Made in 1990. So like the opening scene of Judas. Spoiler alert for the opener in Judas and the Black Messiah when Lakeith was his character William O'Neill was being interviewed. That's based off of a real documentary.
Yeah. I tried to pull it up. And because I'd never seen it. I was on the prize, right?
Yeah.
But it was like you got to pay for the episodes, so I was like, I'll come back.
It's on YouTube somewhere for free. Somebody.
Say less. Yeah. Hey, shouts out to the content creators.
And I don't even think it was the entire. I think it was like 30 minutes of it. But it was like the important 30 minutes of it, right? But yeah, man, I thought it was good, man. I thought Lakeith really did a great. I've been saying this for the past week. Like, if he does not win an Oscar for that performance, and if Daniel Kaluuya doesn't win an Oscar, and I know Shaka King wasn't really like he doesn't bother him at all, but I'm just like, man, this film just needs to be it's already acknowledged.
Yeah,
but I just. Yeah, like how Moonlight was. Yeah. Like how everybody kind of wrapped their arms around Moonlight. We need to wrap our arms. And I feel like this is a film that everyone needs to see. It's a really good movie.
Yeah. It is a film that I think everyone needs to see. Like, I agree with you that I think Daniel should get like an Oscar for his role and then Lakeith for supporting, like supporting or whatever. Will it happen?
I don't know.
I don't think it will, because I think that we appreciate it for the greatness that it is and amongst our community, but mainstream. The same reason that like you go to the Grammys and Good Kid, Mad City gets overlooked.
Oh yeah, by Macklemore.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Like, I don't think the mainstream, the people who are in those positions to make those decisions, they don't see it as great as we do.
And I think what Shaka King was trying to do was to, one, like what you said, put things in perspective, and also like not really just put all his eggs in one basket. Like I think for him to get this film done and for it to be well done and for it to come out concise and clear and I learned something new. I feel like, I don't know about you, but my early exposure of Fred Hampton was that one picture where he's like not shouting, but he's making a speech, and you hear that he was killed at 21.
Yeah.
And that's not even the whole story.
No.
He was assassinated.
Yeah.
It was an attempt on his life that was successful, and that unfortunately was successful. And you see the bullet, like in the documentary, and I didn't know. And again, this is a spoiler alert. After Fred Hampton was killed and assassinated,
the ballistics.
Well, yeah. So they charged Deborah Johnson, formerly known as Deborah Johnson, and others who were in the house with trying to kill police.
Yeah, and what they have it was like one round fire.
One round,
yeah,
and then they went in. It was like more than 70 rounds, probably more than that.
I think they fired. It was like 91, 92 shots.
And this is like early TV days. So of course not everybody has a TV, or people are not don't have the access to social media or media in general. So what they were doing was they were opening up the house.
Yeah.
And having the community, like if you go to like when you go to a funeral and people are lined up outside to see the body, to go inside, that's what they were doing. They were telling people, don't touch anything, leave everything where it is. We want you to see, because they are lying, and you see the bullet holes going in one direction, and that's Fred Hampton's bed.
Yeah, and
that's crazy. And but yeah, man, it's a great. I challenge everyone to watch the film. Make your own interpretations of the film, but watch it. Watch the documentary. Read the book. Yeah. The book is really good from what I've heard. But you were probably one of the first people I know that were really hip to Fred Hampton.
Man. Yeah. But like I always talk about it because Huey Newton is like my favorite civil rights figure, activist, revolutionary.
That man Huey P. on Twitter.
yeah, that's my guy. So so just learning about Huey Newton, Bobby Seale, like even Eldridge Cleaver, Fred Hampton, all of them, and just the Black Panther Party and what they did.
Kathleen Cleaver too.
Yeah, exactly right. Is something that I've always looked into, but even with that, like, and I know you were familiar with Fred Hampton as well. I forgot until at the end of that movie that bro was 21.
21, and he was. So it's really enlightening, like watching the movie and then watching the documentary, because everything they say in the documentary he did in the film. It was portrayed in the film rather, and so they were just like, it's just you can't even fathom that he was 21, because during the day when you get up early in the morning, you get ready because they had to feed kids, they did other programs. And he would take the essentially volunteers and people working with the Black Panther Party who were also around the same age. We'd go outside and be like, all right, we're going to do jumping jacks. We're going to do push-ups. And then we were like, Black Power. Just get them hyped and get them ready for the day so they can go throughout the day. Yeah. And that 21 years old doing that and having the authority and having the power and having the control, but using it in a very responsible way. And then the FBI comes in and tries to find dirt on him and tries to split up the party. But William O'Neill said himself in the documentary, they found nothing. Yeah.
And that, by the same token, we look at Fred Hampton being 21 and achieving everything he did at such a young age. You got to look at William O'Neill, he was 17 when he became an informant for the FBI. You know what I'm saying? Think about a 17-year-old right now. Yeah. Trying to infiltrate something and just having the maturity to see that through. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and this is why I shout out Lakeith. It's because to humanize him in a way, because he could easily be the villain and you can hate him, and which you do end up disliking what he did. Yeah. But you humanize him in a way. Because there are people that can relate to him. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? There are people that are so indifferent about things that are going on that they just don't care and they're willing to risk it all.
And that's I think that's the biggest thing to take from the movie, is that everybody loves to say what they would and wouldn't do. Yeah. Until you're in that situation.
Until you get paid.
Yeah. Until you're in that situation. He was getting paid and he was staying out of jail. You know what I'm saying? Like,
did you peep during the scenes, like when there were times like with the when they were in the car, when the old buddy again, spoiler alert, when old buddy spotted him from the carjacking and was like, yo, he was working with the police, and then they confronted him in the car, and you know he hot-wired it. Luckily, he hot-wired it for him. And just the relief on his face every time he would get past these, or when he found out that they killed an informant. Actually, it was an informant that killed. He was trying to cover his butt. But like the relief in his face, like it was just like, whew. That's why I said, man, look, keep body there.
He did, man. And you talk about him humanizing him. Like, if you know the story, you go into it ready to hate Lakeith. Right? Like Rob, like our homeboy Rob, when we were talking about it, Rob was like, yeah, he said, like, I feel like he's going to mess himself up doing this because everybody's going to hate him. But, like, he bodied that role so much that by the end of it, you were like, damn, like, he was just trying to, like, save himself. You know what I'm saying? It makes you take a step back.
He was just trying to better, if you look at it from his perspective, he was just trying to better his situation. He went about it horribly wrong. Yeah. But we've all made mistakes in our lives, and we've all done things that we wish we could take back. And in the documentary, he was very remorseful, and unfortunately, he killed himself after that documentary, or the night the documentary aired. Yeah. But really, again, man, I can't say much more about it because it's such a great film, one of the best films I've seen in a while. Man, shout out to Dominique Fishback. That's my new crush, man.
Yeah. Oh, I know you've been gassing her. She bodies roles, man.
Yeah. And I didn't know she was like around our age. Yeah. I didn't know she was around our age. But yeah, so we had this conversation, this breakdown of for those who listen through our breakdown of Judas and the Black Messiah. Again, it's streaming on HBO Max, and I think it's in select theaters. So I peep you guys. I challenge you guys to go watch that if you haven't. But yeah, so our topic is black stories that we would like to see happen, right? Mm-hmm. Because I feel like the Fred Hampton story was, and the William O'Neill story, and the story of the Black Panthers, and the story of the FBI too, is a very important story to tell. And I can't get enough of these. And no matter what people say, right? I can't get enough of the Mlk docs. I can't get enough of the Black Panther docs. I can't get enough of the 60s docs, the 70s, the activist docs, because they're so interesting. So much meat left on the bones as far as like the stories to tell. Like there's a new
meat left on the bones. That was a bar. That was a bar. Go ahead.
There's a Mlk documentary on, I believe, Prime, Amazon Prime, I can't remember. Yeah. About the FBI, their phone taps and their wiretaps.
I watched that.
You watched it
early, like last week.
Yeah.
Because I've been wanting to see it. Yeah. Off of your recommendation, and like it's crazy.
It's great. It's so crazy, and it's not and granted, there's a lot of scandalous things that surround MLK's extramarital affairs, and it really didn't get into that. Right, it was really more of it touched on it, but it wasn't about that, right? So if you're looking for that sort of thing, you're in the wrong documentary field. But it was a really good documentary, and those files will be released in like
that was the crazy thing to me,
like 5 years or something like that.
I think it was 2025. Yeah, or 2027,
something like that. It's sometime soon because like you think about it, they have to be sealed for what? Gosh, that's more than 50 years. Yeah, that's like they sealed those for a long time, but they have to be sealed for a certain amount of time and then they get released. But so I say all that to say, black stories. It could be either documentaries, which are my favorite. You know, on my weekends I binge watch a documentary now. You know, I'm good for a good documentary, but also something that could be portrayed in a 2-hour film, 1-hour film, 3-hour film, whatever, or maybe is a series. Series is a new thing.
Yeah, that's true. Like short, limited series.
Yeah. So we wanted to discuss a few. I have 3. I think Justin has 2 or 3. That we have. Do you want me to go first? You
go ahead, man.
Okay, so we'll do it like how we do every topic. I'll go first, and then you get one, and then we'll go back and forth.
Play it off each other.
Okay. So this is a much lighter one, but Luther Vandross.
That would be interesting.
That would, because look, hear me out, right? Luther wasn't just a great singer, like one of the best singers that we've seen in ever in life, right?
Yeah.
And recognizable voice. But there's so much that we don't know about him, right? I mean, there were rumors about his personal life. We're not going to get into that, but like, I would like to know that. I feel like when I saw Ray, I learned so much more about Ray Charles that I did not know.
Yeah.
Like, I did not know Ray Charles was a womanizer. I didn't know he dealt with drugs.
Yeah. That's when he was filling up on chicks' wrists.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm cool with the documentary. I'm cool with I don't know who will play him on the big screen. I'm cool with the series. I'm cool with either of those. Maybe a documentary and then a movie or something like that, like how they did Mr. Rogers. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Luther. I mean, it's because I don't know too much about Luther. Like, I try to research. I know his music. I know his songs. I'm familiar with everything Luther when it comes to his music career.
Yeah.
But like, how did he get his deal? I know he was a background singer for, I believe, Dionne Warwick.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And he was so good that she was like, yeah, you need to be a solo artist.
Yeah, Dion's still out here killing it. So.
Yeah, and his fluctuation with his weight, his health.
Yeah, now that you say that, you didn't know too much about Luther, man.
At all. I mean, people would make jokes about Luther and his weight.
There were speculations about Luther, but like, this man never really was out in the public eye like that.
How did they try to market Luther? Because they really made him a romantic type of guy, but were they ever trying to make him a sex symbol? I don't know. I mean, like Teddy Pendergrass died.
Teddy P was that guy.
Man, I didn't know that about Teddy P.
Yeah.
I mean, we knew that Teddy P was the guy, but I didn't know Teddy P was like that guy.
Yeah. I didn't realize he was like, they were throwing panties on stage like that.
Yeah, in the teddy bear, the chocolate teddy bear lollipops.
Yeah,
that was genius. That was genius. Marketing. But yeah, there's so much we don't know about Luther. What about you? What you got?
So the first person I pulled up.
Did you write it down? I had to write mine.
So I had him on my phone, but Sidney Poitier.
Happy birthday to Sidney Poitier.
Yeah, today.
It was this past weekend, I believe. Okay. 94 years old.
Yeah. I think a documentary about him or a well done movie, a biopic about him, like, bro was paved the way for like a lot of people. For sure. When you look at him being, what was it? I think Guess Who's Coming to Dinner was like the first interracial, like couple on screen. You know what I'm saying?
And it's weird because they didn't kiss at all. Yeah. Because I think Jim Brown was the first one to kiss a white woman on screen.
Yeah, right? Exactly. But Sidney Poitier, because especially like rest in peace, Cicely Tyson. Yeah. But you look at those two in terms of opening doors for black actors and black actresses. Yeah. I think that would be. I would love to see.
I would love In the Heat of the Night.
Yeah. Now, who if they did the biopic, who should play?
I mean, it
would have to be several people.
Oh, I was about to say me.
I was gonna say.
But seriously, who would play Sidney Poitier? I think you would have to go into the unknowns, like those up and coming guys, like when Daniel Kaluuya came out with Get Out, and when Chadwick came out with 42, we didn't really know these guys at all. So
that would be another one that, like a Chadwick Boseman. Like, I know it's soon, it's too soon right now, but
yeah, like in years to come, Chadwick's story would be cool. Who I have? Okay. I'm gonna skip the second one on my list because I said a musician, but Stokely Carmichael, aka Kwame Ture, that was on your list.
No, it wasn't on my list, but I love Stokely Carmichael.
Again, like I'm a sucker for the 60s, the activists,
the movement,
the movement. Because again, there's so much left that hasn't been told. So many sidebar stories, so many people like. I'll get back to the Stokely Carmichael or Kwame Ture. The Mlk Doc. There were a lot of names they threw out there that I had to Google. I did not know that were activists.
The funny thing is, watching that doc, I feel like my brush with fame and my brush with the civil rights movement through you, right? Like Andrew Young.
Yeah.
And the fact that you were down in Atlanta and you interviewed Andrew.
Always surreal, man. It was surreal. I was just like, that interview was supposed to be, let me back up. So I interviewed Andrew Young. I've seen Andrew Young several times when I was in Atlanta. And this is no flex or anything, but he's that guy. He's that guy.
Yeah.
So I got a chance to interview him. So the George Floyd protest popped off that first night in Atlanta. The second night they called me, or the second day they called me in. I said, "Hey, cool, I'll do it." And they were like, "Just see if you can call anybody you can." So I ended up finding Andrew Young's phone number in our contact system. I thought it was an old number, so I called. Somebody picked up the phone. Hello? It's like, "Hey, can I speak to Ambassador Young?" "Yeah, this is him." "Hey, this is Nick Sturtevant with blah, 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 blah. I would love to talk to you. You know what I'm saying? Do you have any time? I know it's last minute." Just being very apologetic. It's like, it's just Andrew Young.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Sure." I was like, "Okay, I could be there in like an hour." Okay. And then I was like, "What's your address?" Blah, 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 blah. And get there, gate opens up. We talk. He sits down on the front steps. We start rolling. And I just start asking questions after questions after questions after questions.
Yeah.
Just trying to
get carried away, get as much as you can.
Yeah, man. It was just and a lot of that stuff that we had to trim down because I was asking random questions.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to know, and it's so fascinating.
Yeah, 100%.
But like those are that's another guy that we don't know too much about, and he's one of the last guys that are alive.
Yeah, and you got to get as much as you can from him.
Yeah. You got
especially if you want it to be done right, like you said with Judas and the Black Messiah, like making sure that it was done right from his like from Fred Hampton Jr. and the involvement that they had to make sure that the story was accurately told.
But anyway, Stokely Carmichael, man, changed his name to Kwame Ture. Moved to Africa in 1968. Was a part of SNCC. Black Power came from Stokely Carmichael. Marched with Dr. King. Was sort of a internal adversary to Dr. King because he was that younger movement who was like, well, why are we being nonviolent? Why can't we do this? And it's a lot of how we feel, the angst that we feel when we're younger and we're trying to rebel and we feel like this thing is not working, so we want to amplify it more. So yeah, man, he's just an interesting guy. I think he passed away in the late 90s from prostate cancer, I believe. But like, just an interesting guy, really, really interesting guy.
Yeah.
And a guy that is always the sidebar story to a lot of these other activists. Like
he was always right there.
Yeah, he was right there, man. And he's from his family's from Trinidad.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah. So very interesting guy, man. Very cultured guy, interesting guy. So yeah, that I would say Stokely Carr. I would probably want a doc because so much to unpack with Stokely.
Yeah, so
much.
Yeah,
maybe like a doc series.
Yeah, that would. Yeah, I think to accurately get it done, you would have to do a doc with that.
What about you? Who you got?
So I'm gonna be real with you. So
be real with me, man. Tell the truth.
I'm gonna switch it up right now because I had one, but I think this one hit me, and I would just love to see this made into like a movie. Well, not like a movie, but like a documentary. But the same way we had like the struggle, like, or not the struggle, but all the documentaries about like Biggie and Tupac. Yeah. Even like they got a Biggie one coming out on Netflix. What's it called?
I Got a Story to Tell.
I Got a Story to Tell.
Yeah.
But we always get, whenever we get like a Pac documentary or movie, Biggie's in there. When Notorious came out, like they basically just cast for both movies at the same time.
Didn't even know it, dude.
Yeah, right? Like, come on, man. So like the kid who got, the guy who got cast for Suge Knight, he has parlayed that into like 4 roles.
A successful career.
Yeah. Like I'm pretty sure that was him in the Straight Outta Compton movie and like everything. But
also there's a Suge Knight documentary on Hulu that's really good too.
I saw that and I was like, you know what?
Antoine Fuqua.
Come on, man.
It's pretty good.
I might look at that. I might
I'm pretty good with these recommendations.
You haven't missed yet. But the same way, like those two always seem to be in each other's story. I would be really interested to hear like a Booker T. Washington, W.E.B. Du Bois.
People don't know the backstory between Booker T. Washington and W.E.B.
They come in. Hey, they were the early version of me and you. You feel me? Trying to reach the same goal from two different.
It's a lot of smoke, man. It was a mutual respect, but it was a lot of tension.
Yeah, they were like.
They were at each other.
They were. And me and you don't go at each other like that, but like I always just look at how W.E.B. Du Bois is like, look, this is how we get there. Booker T. Washington was like, nah, bro, like this is how we get there. Both fighting for this again, the same goal, the same end goal. But I think that would be super interesting.
I think people try to when you read certain things, like when I remember growing up reading things about W.E.B. Du Bois and Booker T. Washington, and they try to discredit one over the other, and it's just like they're trying to reach the same goal. They just have different philosophies. I mean, they grew up completely different.
Yeah.
So of course their opinions are shaped different.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, and I guess we don't want to spoil the whole like we want you guys to do some research on these people.
Spark your interest.
Yeah, so like go back and read. It's available. It's out there. Booker T. Washington. And Booker T. Washington has ties to this area too.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think he used to frequent Durham. Black Wall Street.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, I think he went there and was like very, very impressed.
Yeah.
He was like, "Wow, this is happening. This is cool." On a side note to that, I meant to write this name down. Marcus Garvey.
I thought about Marcus Garvey too. That would be an interesting one.
I can see a movie. I can see a good movie.
Yeah. I could see that being. that one would be so interesting to me.
It would.
Because Marcus Garvey is a name that I'll be 100% honest that I'm not as knowledgeable about what Marcus Garvey was doing, but I know what Marcus Garvey's like basic principles were.
Yeah, and it was so unique to the times and also too like. If I'm remembering correctly, I think he near the end of his life he had a lot of financial issues. I think he went broke.
Yeah.
If I'm remembering correctly, but yeah, he has a very fascinating story, like his rise and then sort of like.
And into this is going to be very superficial, but to see just the image of like a Stokely Carmichael or like a Malcolm X, and then you see like Marcus Garvey. Like it just.
He's from Jamaica. Okay.
Yeah, man. That would like I thought about that one too, and then we could get the Dr. Umar and Doc. Come on, man.
Well, you know who could play Marcus Garvey? That probably could pull it off.
Who?
What's my man from Atlanta?
Oh, he could.
Brandon Tyree.
Yeah. That's his name. No, that's it. That's Brian Tyree.
Brian Tyree. Yes. He could. I think he could pull it off.
Yeah. I can see that.
I don't know what. I was like.
He looks the part.
Yeah, he looks the part. He's a great actor. Because I've seen him in other things outside of Atlanta. Like he's a really great actor. So
and let me just throw this in there now because I agree with you. Shout out to Donald Glover, man, because
Emily Obama. I think she's going to be partnering with him.
Malia?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I mean, I don't have it. I just briefly saw it yesterday.
Yeah.
But shout out to Donald Glover.
Yeah, shout out to Donald Glover.
And his brother.
Yeah, exactly. For getting what they got the channel on Amazon. But also, I like to look at where people start, man. Like, not to say that Lakeith or Brian Tyree, like, started with Atlanta, but to be able to see the talent within them to put that cast together and then see Lakeith go and do Get Out or go do Judas and the Black Messiah, like, the range that he's shown there. And even Brian Tyree, like, he's been in, wasn't he in, Selma?
He was in, I believe he was, and he was in another I believe he was like in a murder mystery type movie. Yeah. I mean, I was like,
hey, we just out here. Yeah.
But no, they're both talented dudes, man, and Donald Glover, man. I know the price goes up a little bit.
Yeah.
You get to what? This is the third season in Atlanta, and they were filming it while I was living in Atlanta, and then they stopped because of COVID, and then they started again. I think they're going to start back in March, so next month.
He was in If Beale Street Could Talk.
He was in Bill. He played it. Did you see that movie?
I did see it. Yeah,
okay, that was pretty
good. He played her dad, wasn't he?
No. He played the friend that got out of jail.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
If Beale Street Could Talk, he was in Joker.
Okay, I didn't see that one. No.
I did see Joker.
I
was gonna say you saw it.
Yeah.
What else?
I forgot maybe that's who I was thinking of. He was in Joker.
Yeah, he was in Don't Let Go. That was like the murder mystery when you were talking about.
Okay. Maybe I was thinking of Don't Let Go and Joker.
Yeah. But yeah, super
talented dude. I would love to see him as Marcus Garvey. Now, if we see that and he becomes Marcus Garvey, and I'm like, all right, I need some credits or something.
You know what? I've also this is like a side note, real quick. As I look at this, I've also because I was looking up the cast of Judas and the Black Messiah as I was watching it, but it also when you click on Lakeith Stanfield on Google, it'll bring up like his movies and TV shows, and it'll show you what Judas and the Black Messiah was originally named before they changed the name.
What was the name?
Hold on, let me see if I can find this again. It was like, I think it was like Black Jesus or something like that, and I was like, yeah, Judas and the Black Messiah hits a little bit better than that.
Yeah, you know what? But here's the thing. I get it. I do think that like some early names. This is like when we were thinking about names of the podcast, right?
Yeah.
Like,
you gotta hash some of that out because I say that because when I was looking at the other dude, him being in Don't Let Go, they said that was originally supposed to be named Relive.
Yeah, nah, I'm not. And just a side note, if you hear that little ringy tone thingy in the background, if you pick it up, listeners, that's just the dryer. One more. Do you have any more biopics?
No, I'm good.
Biopics?
Yeah.
Stevie Wonder.
Bro, I was going to put Stevie... Look at us on the same page. I was going to put Stevie Wonder down, and I was like, you know what? Let me not.
Nah, Stevie Wonder would be fire, bro. I mean, because he's always a guy getting an interview for these documentaries too.
Yeah. Now, would you want the documentary or the biopic of Stevie? Because I feel like
I think I would want the documentary.
Yeah. Like
maybe both. I think both. I think I would want both. I think he deserves both. I think
he deserves both.
He deserves a good biopic. And I honestly believe like HBO, Netflix, they do pretty good jobs on these documentaries. So I'm safe to say those, the HBO or Netflix. And then they should do a film. But I think they should do it in the same realm of how they did it with like Ray. Not trying to cover his entire life, but maybe focusing on like when he started to spread his musical wings. Like another black story was Hitsville. We mentioned this before the documentary. Stevie Wonder kept the lights on in Motown.
Yeah.
And he really did his own thing, started writing his own music. So I think maybe starting from there to maybe like the 90s, I don't know, and then doing flashbacks of him when he was a kid. I don't know. I'm just throwing something out there.
I think that would be the documentary. I would go with the documentary because I think it would be one of those situations where like what was the Clarence Avant?
Oh yeah, because it was Clarence Avant was like if you tried to do that in the film, you would just miss so much.
Yeah, and I feel like so many people love Stevie to where they would sit down and like give you Stevie
for
stories.
Sure. Stevie's still with us.
Yeah.
I think that's a perfect documentary.
See, and that's where it starts to get tricky too, though, because there's a lot of people who I would love to have heard from in regards to Stevie, but they've like passed on.
Yeah, that's why Stevie's always the guy.
Yeah, like everybody goes to Stevie because Stevie was here.
Stevie was like the guy before Michael Jackson and the Jacksons. Like that is crazy to think. Stevie's been around for a minute, but and why you still have Smokey and why you still have Berry Gordy, like you gotta like, and even maybe some of these people like that have worked with Stevie behind the scenes, like I would like to hear from, like the band and stuff like that. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I think everybody that listens to this podcast are familiar with Stevie Wonder, so we're not gonna go too in depth in it. But again, these are several stories that we threw out there that we would love to see. I mean, feel free to chime in and comment, and when this episode is released, and we would love to hear from you guys about what black stories that you would want to hear. You want to get into the sports bag? We got a lot to unpack.
We've been waiting on this one. Yeah.
Fine in the mood, fine in my bag.
All right. So I don't know when this incident happened, but I saw the video Sunday, and that was I'm pretty sure you saw the video Sunday too. Correct? Okay. So a young man at a football camp, Cam Newton's football camp, 707 camp, started popping off at the mouth at Cam, basically saying, what did he say, JP? Do you remember?
The young man at the camp, Cam Newton seemed to be minding his own business.
Yeah, coaching, it's his camp.
Providing insight and leadership for kids, but apparently the young man started yelling at Cam that he was a free agent.
Yeah.
That he was essentially, I'm paraphrasing, but saying that he was washed and that he was trash, and that he would soon be. Well, Cam Newton then, in his response, said, "I'm rich. Like you can think that I'm a free agent or whatever, but I'm rich." The young man said that you're broke. You're about to be broke, something like that. They go back and forth, numerous rounds, saying the same thing to each other.
Okay, so here's the thing. I want to approach it from this angle, right? How can this young man I believe he made a mistake. I wouldn't call it like a huge mistake. It could be life-changing mistake, but I grew up and you grew up as in we respect our elders, we respect people that have done it before us, we respect people with the knowledge, with the wealth of knowledge. And I feel like there was a lack of respect. Now, that young man this morning posted an apology about it. You can find that, do your Googles, your Twitter searches or whatever, Instagram searches. So he did apologize. And Cam Newton released another video of him trying to break down and get through this young man, relate to this young man. And I think Cam Newton handled it well. So here's the thing. I don't want to get caught up in killing this young man, right? Because like we all make mistakes at a young age. And we say things that are out of pocket, and we think we're bigger than we are at certain points. I'm not talking about all of us, but some of us, and that happens, right? And you learn from your mistakes. So I don't want to kill this young man, even though I know that he made a mistake and he was way out of bounds for this. But you coach young men, similar age. How can this guy? And I want to get it from the perspective of a coach. Does this make your job harder seeing this? Because this is going viral. And also, how do you get through to these young men that disrespect is not good, and that they can learn from this incident? Like your players right now.
Yeah, I think that is bigger than just like a sports thing, right? Yeah. I think just with the generation. You gotta take the good with the bad, right? Like it's easy to just paint a broad stroke of like all good. Like one thing, what is it, Gen Z? Yeah, is what they call it or whatever. Like one thing about Generation Z that I'll say is good is that they don't just accept things without asking questions. Or like when it comes to like social issues, I think for the most part they understand that the concept of like people not being treated equally to them seems to be like, no, that doesn't make sense, right? Yeah. And they have no problem speaking up about it. I'll say that's good. The flip side of that is I think that like maybe the same characteristics of feeling like you can challenge everything or you don't really have to respect your elders or things like that, or
Yeah.
respect. Let me say respect the process or the way things are done,
Yeah.
or carry yourself with a certain level of professionalism. Is the flip side, right?
Yeah.
And that's all exasperated by the fact that everybody wants to achieve fame through social media, right? Like in this particular situation with this kid with Cam, if all his friends weren't around and he knew that this wouldn't blow up on the internet, would he have done this?
No. Also, I although he may not have been running the camera, I think he was conscious of the fact that somebody had
That they had the camera on, like that.
Yeah.
I think that's what propelled. Like that was the catalyst for all of this.
I agree with you. Yeah.
If no cameras were around, you wouldn't have done this. See, and where my issue comes in with things like this is I'm all for people keeping the same energy.
Yeah.
Right. What good, bad, or indifferent, whether I agree or disagree, if you keep the same energy, I gotta respect it. Now, this kid, you didn't have a problem talking wild to that man whenever this video was recorded, right? You were standing behind it then.
Yeah.
Now it didn't get spun the way you wanted it to spin.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden you're writing this long apology. This is not how I was raised. I didn't mean any disrespect. No, you meant to be disrespectful.
So what do you tell? I mean, not even just your players, but like kids that you've coached, kids that you know, because you're in that world.
Yeah.
Like, what do you tell them? I mean, do you point to this video like, look, this is not what you should do? Like,
yeah, I think that's exactly what you do, and I think that it kind of in a way corrects itself because they see that everybody is like, I don't want to say killing this kid, but everybody is critical of this kid, and they're saying that this is not the way to go about it. Now, the tricky thing about it, I think, and tell me where you stand on this, is sometimes you gotta. This is gonna be a horrible like phrase to use, but you gotta fight fire with fire, right? Now, Cam Newton can't do that because Cam Newton is Cam Newton.
Yeah.
Right? He can't, and I think that Cam, for as much like crap as I give Cam, I gotta commend Cam for how he handled the
He
situation.
handled it pretty well.
Right?
Yeah.
Going over to that kid saying, look, like, let me break this down for you. And he did it perfectly in the way that he was like, okay, I think he even said in the video, you brought all this attention your way. I'm just trying to have a conversation with you.
That's right.
Right?
It was a fair question.
Yeah, he said, you got everybody's attention. Now, don't shy away. Don't be shy now because I'm trying to have a conversation with you. And I'm trying to understand, hey, like, what'd you do today? Right? And I think he handled it in a perfect way because now that kid is being put, like, the spotlight's being put on him and he has nothing to back it up with. So I think that it was a perfect way of, I don't want to say you should embarrass people, but sometimes that's the only way people learn.
And also too, I look at it and this is how I'm looking at it. I just thought about this. There is a lot of disrespect of Cam Newton. There's a lot of questions about Cam Newton. Maybe not disrespect about Cam Newton, but there's a lot of questions about his ability.
Yeah.
Right? Especially after this season. And I look at it as, yes, Cam Newton had a tough season, but I feel like that kid felt like he had the license to say that because of what's been portrayed out there, said about Cam, but also like just keep it hot. Like, you know, Tom Brady didn't look the best this year that we've seen. Drew Brees didn't look the best.
Drew Brees was washed.
He would not have said that to Drew Brees.
He wouldn't have, but I can't let you get that off, right? I don't think he would have said, like, part of me thinks, like, I do think that there was disrespect in him doing it. I do think that he was trying to go viral. I think he was clout chasing, all of those sayings you want to put on it. But I also think that, like, part of him, I think he wanted the exchange, right? Like I told you before when we were talking about this, my issue with Cam is that Cam seems to feed into this. Now, he corrected himself very quickly this time.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm cool with that. But he wouldn't have said that to Drew Brees because Drew Brees, like, doesn't give off that energy. I think Cam gives off an energy of, like, Cam's a fun-loving guy. Like, all of these things that creates an environment. Cam's in tune with the kids.
He's very in tune with the kids.
He's in tune with the kids. Like, you look at that one good season he had. When he was like dabbing and stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like Cam by quarterback standards, with the exception of Lamar Jackson, who's cooler than Cam? Even with the down season, who's cooler than Cam?
Cam is cooler than Pat Mahomes.
He's like, if we're being real about it,
we're
we're just in like such shock and amazement at Pat Mahomes' greatness on the field. But like off the field, nobody's like jocking Pat Mahomes.
Yeah, and we're not saying who is better. We're saying
no.
cooler.
Yeah, who's like in societies within within the black community. Yeah, who is the coolest top 3 quarterbacks in the league?
It's got to be Cam.
Cam's 2. I put Lamar Jackson. I think Lamar because he's in that age group, right?
But I also feel like because of, and I'm not when I said Drew Brees and Tom Brady, I wasn't trying to make it like a black and white thing.
Yeah. No, I don't think it's that. I just
how it's portrayed. Like Lamar, those kids or that kid wouldn't have gotten that off with Lamar Jackson because Lamar Jackson had a great season, right? So we sort of have. And granted, how old that kid was like what? I give him was making
15,
16, right? So think about it. Carolina's Super Bowl season was 15, 16, right? So 16 is when they went to the Super Bowl.
So he was 10?
Yes. So this kid doesn't know about Cam Newton's career. Yeah. Like that's like me trying to get at John Elway. Like, hey, you went that
talking about Warren Moon.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like I was a child when that happened, and that kid is a child now.
But you know, like a lot of that, and this is where now. Granted, I think this kid is old enough to know better.
Yeah.
But
and that's why I'm treading very lightly on this one because he is a kid.
Yeah, because he is a kid, right? He should know better, but also. Kids are often just mouthpieces for what they hear from adults.
Yeah, they
you know what I'm saying? Like you said, like he's heard it through the media. He's probably like he might follow me on Twitter, right? As much as I talk trash about Cam.
Yeah. He probably does.
Yeah, right.
Probably
come on, man. Nah, that would never fly. No, but you know, like through the media and through like social media and stuff, he's probably just being a mouthpiece for what he's heard other people say.
Yeah.
And again, I think even with him being disrespectful, if he would have had a conversation with Cam and they could have went back and forth and like had a dialogue, I don't think this is a problem. I don't think he needs to apologize because at the end of the day, I think Cam was tight initially.
Oh, for sure.
He was tight.
But here's the thing, I would be tight too, bro. You. Like, what's the Samuel Jackson skit on Chappelle? You ain't seen any of my movies? Like, you ain't
Samuel Jackson.
A shock ate me. But yo, like it's a kid, and we didn't want to. I didn't want to get caught up in the conversation of killing the kid. I know a lot of people have been killing the kid. When I say killing, I mean as far as they're really just piling on the fact that he was wrong. Yes, obviously he was wrong. But, I think we're in position now as adults to figure out how to send that message to younger people about how to correct those actions, how to respect people, how to show respect, and not always do something for social media like TikTok, Instagram, Reels is cool. It's not about that.
Build something that's going to last, right? Like, worst case, like next week, we're not going to care about this.
No, not at all. Not at all.
And nobody's going to remember this kid's name.
And that's why I commend, somebody like you who works with kids and coaches kids, because that's hard to get in through. Like, that's like, I know sometimes you probably get frustrated with like you're trying to get the message across and trying to teach them, and they're probably learning. They're just kids. Sometimes it's just
and you're 100% correct there. And I've learned to just trust the process, right? Yeah. And I've learned to take a look at like, okay, because one of the driving forces for me wanting to coach, like I love the game of football, but also like mentoring kids, right? And like the one thing that I always go back to there is I wish I had somebody to tell me when I was that age.
Yeah, yeah.
Like the reality of the situation is I probably had people telling me, I just wasn't listening.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I
do it now. I just got off the phone with my mom. Yeah. Like I'm just like I'm not gonna get into that situation, but like and it's, but granted I'm not a child, but
Yeah. and I think that like now I've adjusted I guess what I try to accomplish is just by even if you don't listen to me right now, like, go ahead, like you're 15, 16.
Yeah.
You're gonna do wild boy stuff, right? But whenever you're in a situation, if you're in a situation that could end up getting you in hot water or end up putting you in a worse situation, if anything that I've ever said to you, like, at least runs through your mind right then and causes you to pause and think about, like, okay, what am I doing? Yeah. And I feel like I've done my job.
And I'm sure it's satisfying when, like, a couple of years or a few years after, like on your podcast 50/50, like when you had Khalil on there, I'm sure it was cool seeing him. Yeah. Like, you know,
it is, man.
And other guys, if you had on the podcast, like, it's just like, it's cool to see where they've gone, and obviously it sank in and they listened.
Yeah, and just seeing them grow up, man. Like,
the maturity, man. It's a wild.
That the maturity from like 14 to 18, crazy.
Yeah.
Like, it may be more maturity there than from like 19 to 24 when you're in college, or like 22, 23, you know? Yeah. Like that's more life maturity, whereas like 14 to 18 is just like,
yeah.
It's different.
Oh man. One quick topic. I know we're running long. It seems like we're running long on this podcast. I never know. I never have a timer right here, but I want to get into, for a little bit, Deshaun Watson. And not just, we know Deshaun Watson doesn't want to be in Houston. We know Carolina is putting full court press on.
What you think?
That's what we know. Yeah. Now, I like it. I want Deshaun Watson. Mm-hmm. I know you said we've been hard on Teddy Bridgewater. You know, we as in a collective of Carolina Panthers fans in the media. But I just feel like Deshaun Watson is, you know, I think that's a guy that you know, he's 25. That's a guy that you build around. Like, he's a legit quarterback. I think the question comes to play is if Carolina gives up the 3 first rounds, Christian McCaffrey or Teddy Bridgewater, whoever in the trade, does that make them a better team, like a Super Bowl contender, a playoff contender overnight?
No.
What about not even playoff?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so. Like that's why I go back and forth on. I hope that y'all do get not Teddy Bridgewater, but Deshaun Watson.
Teddy Bridgewater don't follow the Panthers.
Yeah. I saw that. I saw them making a big deal about that. But I hope y'all do get Deshaun Watson, right? I would love to see him in Carolina. I think Carolina needs a big name in their prime.
Deshaun and Melo.
Yeah, running through the city. Hey,
and
Deshaun Watson.
And Jillian?
LaMelo Ball, Nick Sturdivant. Come on, man. Hey,
talk about it.
Hey, put them on the club flyers right now.
Talk about it.
Yeah.
That'd be hard.
That would be super hard.
A virtual party.
Yeah.
You know. No.
But if you trade away, like, okay, give away the picks, that's fine. But giving away Christian McCaffrey, I think, and you're probably gonna lose Curtis Samuels.
And here's the thing. I am not big on draft picks at all. Because we see what has happened with teams that have, you know, really just done terrible with the draft. Yeah. And they've had, or they pick the obvious pick, right? Mm-hmm. You know, you pick the number 1 pick. You pick the best player in the draft. That's what the number 1 pick is, right? Mm-hmm. Is all the signs are there. Like, Trevor Lawrence is going to be the number 1 pick. Now, if he doesn't do well, then, I mean, you can't blame the Jags. Yeah. I mean, that's the obvious pick. Yeah. Because if he does do well and they don't pick him, then they look stupid. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not big on draft picks. Like, I like draft picks. I think the draft is fun. I think a lot of these guys end up being the next whatever. Obviously, my quarterback, who we just talked about, was the number 1 draft pick for the Panthers. I just think, man, this is a time, and this is like the Laker Chris Paul trade that needs to happen, in my opinion. Yeah, because imagine if Chris Paul was on the Lakers.
Craziness. Kobe would have got some more rings.
He would have reached 7 probably.
Yeah. But it's like you said too. Like, I agree with you. Yeah. Draft picks, like, especially on first rounders, all right, whatever. Yeah. Unless you have like a Trevor Lawrence, because you were talking about it before. If you can find like a 3rd rounder, that's really where you find like, okay, this person, that's a real steal, because 1, financially, you're saving money. 2, they can come in and contribute right now.
Russell Wilson was a third or fourth, maybe second or third.
I think he was like third or fourth round.
Third.
Yeah.
Richard Simmons.
Richard Sherman. Richard Simmons in the NFL. Come on, man.
Richard Sherman was a 5th round pick. Brandon Browner was a 4th round pick. Like, I'm talking about the Legion. They built a Super Bowl winning franchise off of later round picks in Seattle. So it's not really indicative of that first round to me, or even sometimes the second round. Even though I think the second round is a little bit better for me. Yeah. That's when I really start, like, honestly, maybe I'm the only one. I really start paying attention to the draft when you get to round 2, 3, 4, because that's when you really set the foundation. You talk about Curtis Samuel. Curtis Samuel was a second, third round pick.
Yeah.
He ended up becoming a good role player for Carolina if he gets re-signed. So yeah, I just wanted to pick your brain. I think it upgrades our quarterback situation. I don't think our offensive line is bad. I think it was always okay. The reason why I say it wasn't bad because there were games that we were supposed to win that our offensive line didn't fail us. It was just the quarterback play failed us.
Again,
the defense in a way failed us.
Yeah, the defense I think is fine. Like Jeremy Chin looks like should be defensive rookie of the year.
He should, but it's politics. It's politics.
Come on, man. Yeah. Hey, bro had
the mathematics.
Hey, 2 touchdowns in less than a minute.
That was impressive. Look, I told you, you killed me for this one. I wish we can go back to the episode.
You called that as soon as he was drafted.
I said Jeremy Chin is going to be a problem. I know I wanted Isaiah Simmons. Am I saying this name right? Yeah, Isaiah Simmons is from Clemson as much as anybody, but we had to get somebody to clog up that interior. And Derek Brown played really well last year. Very, very low key. But Jeremy Chin, man, like.
And Shaq Thompson coming into his own. Think about this is the thing. Hey, think about, like, obviously for health reasons, I understand it, but like if Luke Kuechly would be like 31 right now.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine Luke Kuechly in the middle of that defense with a mature Shaq Thompson.
Yeah.
Derek Brown up front. Jeremy Chin in your secondary. Who you got on the outsides?
We got some.
What's your boy with the dreads?
Dante Jackson. He was hurt last year. So,
yeah.
I forget the other guy. We was rotating corners. But
like that's 3 levels. Derek Brown, Luke Kuechly right in the middle, and then Jeremy Chin. That's 3. Like I will take those 3 arguably over like the only defense that I could think of that might be better than that. I'll say 2 defense: Tampa Bay or the Rams.
Yeah.
With Aaron Donald. They don't have a linebacker in the back, but then Jalen Ramsey in the secondary.
And that's why I say I'm like, look, if we can get that quarterback, I mean, granted, here's my only thing on Christian McCaffrey. I love Christian McCaffrey. I think he's a game changer. I think we run him into the ground
because you had nobody else. Like
we
didn't have a quarterback to throw the ball.
We had Mike Davis. I mean,
but you didn't have Mike Davis at the time, though.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so. Christian McCaffrey is a utility back. He can run the ball up the middle. He can catch it. He can split out wide. The problem with Christian McCaffrey the past couple of years, he's been hurt.
Yeah, but that's like you said, it's wear and tear. Hey,
it's wear and tear.
Why is Christian McCaffrey returning punts? Like those are questions.
That's why I said like we are running him to the ground, but. Deshaun Watson, he's not a running back. He's not a running quarterback like Cam. He's not a and I think we have sort of the offensive structure in place to fit a Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
So
I like to see it.
I would like to see it, man. I love when I love seeing Tom Brady in a different jersey this past year.
Yeah.
Like I like the QB swaps. So
yeah, that's cool. Y'all be battling for 3rd place, but
so y'all be in 4th place, right?
No.
As a Falcons fan,
Drew Brees up out of here. We getting right now.
So I don't know if Justin is a Falcons fan or if he's a Bills fan. So he can't rep both because that's illegal. That's against the law.
I can't turn my back.
It's in the Constitution somewhere.
I can't turn my back on the Falcons. But I am a Josh Allen fan.
Hey man, somebody cue up Chingy and Tyrese. Every time I try to leave, something keeps
100%. That's exactly what it is.
Oh man. And on that note, man, we're going to wrap up the episode. Thank you guys for listening and watching episode 93 of This Is The Thing podcast. You can find us on our YouTube page, This Is The Thing podcast YouTube page, or you can find us on Instagram, This Is The Thing podcast, the number 2, This Is The Thing podcast, the number 2. You can find us on Twitter at...
And This Is The Thing _ This Is The Thing _
I had the Friday joint, but I don't have my phone, and I didn't write it down.
I was trying to pull it up, but then got sidetracked by somebody making a tackle. My bad.
It was a good it was a very eclectic album.
It was,
or EP, or whatever you want to call it.
Lava La
Rue.
Magpie.
Yeah, I like that. Did you?
I like that.
Yeah,
I did listen. I like it.
It's a smooth joint. It came out Friday, man. So a lot of good music came out Friday. The past couple of weekends, a lot of good music has come out. So it's been kind of hard narrowing down these Friday joints.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's Lava La Rue, Magpie. Again, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching, and we out.